Well, hey, church family, thanks for joining us. We're taking a few minutes here to talk to you about the season of Advent. And not only the season of Advent, but how do you, as a disciple maker, leverage the season of Advent so that you're intentional in your relationships, intentional in your conversations, intentional in the way that you just go about doing life over the next, 4 to 6 weeks during this Advent season. And so when you think about Advent, okay, and maybe not yet Christians wouldn't say Advent, maybe they would call it the holiday season or, the Christmas season or something like that. Right. In my mind, during the holiday season, from, Thanksgiving to the New Year, just culturally, everything that's going on in our society, in our culture, lends itself to amazing opportunities for gospel moments. You've got Thanksgiving. What are we thankful for, and what does that mean or look like? Leading right into then the Christmas season. Right. And there are all these traditions that are ingrained in society. Many people don't even really understand some of the Christian heritage of them. But I guess to start off with, my question would be, have you found it, as your experience, have you found it to be true? And if so, I'm kind of curious, maybe some in ways in you found it to be true. Have you found it to be true that during the Christmas season, you have more opportunities to talk to people about Jesus? Have you found that to be true?
Yeah, I think maybe more opportunities that appear easier is a good way to say it. But yeah, I mean, I think it's just easy to say, oh, what are you doing? You got any family traditions? What do you guys celebrating at church anywhere? Like, there's just a lot of kind of culturally accepted entry points that are like, yeah, great. Let's talk about that. What are you guys doing in the weeks between Thanksgiving and Christmas? What does your family do? What have you always done? How has that impacted you? Those kinds of things. I think there's plenty of opportunity for that.
Yeah. What about you?
Well, I think if I could summarize at least a characteristic of the Advent season, it would be generosity, right? Because I think you have a lot of people who are buying gifts for one another and for those who they love and that sort of thing. And really, the way that we've been thinking about Advent, probably since a couple of years ago, has been like, what are opportunities and ways that we can bless people and be generous towards people, not just with money, but bringing them a meal or opening our home or something like that, that demonstrates the generosity of a God who's given us his own son, right? I mean, and those opportunities actually open up a whole plethora of ways to begin to share the gospel and minister to people. You know, so that's one way that we've been approaching Advent.
It's so true. And, as I was thinking about it, there's almost like kind of two sides to the holiday season. In one regard, as we go into the holiday season, there's more celebration, right? More Thanksgiving. Right. People are parties are happening, work parties. Yeah. There's all kinds of, there's
get-togethers.
We're going to light up the Christmas tree, and they show it on the TV or whatever, or you go down to wherever your, marketplace is, and they've got the Christmas tree. There's all these parties, these happenings, right? Things that are taking place. People are doing things where they're going out and they're looking at Christmas lights, or they're going and shopping, or whatever it is, right? And so there's celebration that's happening. There's anticipation as people are preparing for the Christmas day itself. There's though another side, which is during the holiday season, those who maybe are experiencing loss or hurt or brokenness or suffering. It seems to me that it gets amplified, right? If you're if there's some kind of fractured relationship or missing relationship, it gets amplified. And so on both sides, right? When people are more, maybe aware and intentional in regards to their celebration, there's opportunities. But on the flip side, as people are experiencing more and more loneliness and they're experiencing, the pain of loss, there is more awareness of need.
Yeah. Right.
You know,
Right.
and so I guess for me, as I think about it, I typically try to think like, okay, well, rejoice with those who are rejoicing, weep with those who are weeping.
Yeah.
If we're entering into a cultural moment where certain things are getting amplified, whether it's celebration or
yeah,
you know,
brokenness or pain.
or mourning,
Yeah.
how do we as Christians step into that, right? Because we're the incarnational expression of Christ.
Yep.
The church is on earth, right? We're you know, if incarnation is in the flesh,
Right. The body of Christ.
the body of Christ is the expression of Jesus on earth. How do we step into those moments and meet people where they are? Right? Instead of trying to get them from one place to another, maybe a better way to look at it is, how can I just meet you where you are right now?
Yeah.
And then show you the heart of God and love you with the heart of God.
Well, to meet somebody, you have to be aware of them first, right? So I think in entering into the season, my encouragement to all of us would be to practice some awareness. And be on the lookout for people who are potentially hurting or have needs or, you know, are struggling, and see those opportunities as a way to show the love of God to them.
Yeah.
You know, so just practicing awareness, even of that. I think that's part of the challenge is people are like, oh man, I would love to, but then the half of the battle is just unplugging from the whole cultural, you know, the cultural, you know, I guess I don't know if it's just like a phenomenon of like, you know, materialistic thinking of like, well, it's all, you know, people tend to get pretty tunnel visioned with regards to like the holiday season, but having an awareness then provides an opportunity for you to be able to actually go in and meet those needs.
Yeah, totally.
So it's one way.
Yeah, that's good. And as you were talking about awareness, I think then taking initiative and going and, like you said, stepping in, you know, like the word Advent, it's from a word that means coming. Like the first Advent of Christ when he came in, you know, incarnate, and the second coming when he will come to renew all things. And, you know, what would it be like if we were a people who came to meet one another during like Advent season? Because Jesus didn't say like, hey, y'all want some help? Let me know how I could help you.
Yeah.
But I'll be over here.
Yeah.
It's like, he saw
came.
and he came
in. Yeah.
Right.
You know, we had someone in the core group a couple weeks ago was like, hey, we made some pulled pork. We made a bunch of extra. We're bringing you 3 pounds of pulled pork. Like, we'll be there in 2 hours. And I was like, whoa,
There you go.
that's awesome. Like, that's like, we didn't need that, but it was a blessing. And then we got to be encouraged. And so I think doing things like that in Advent season as a way to remember that Jesus has come and is coming.
Yeah.
And because that's who our God is, we can be people who show up, who come for one another.
Yeah.
I think is just a way to remind ourselves of what the season is about, that Christ was present with us.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
I love that. You know, earlier today, Shelly and I were having a conversation, and we were talking about some parenting stuff. But what I was saying to her is, I said, you know, I think when it comes to shepherding, that, you know, 90% of shepherding is like showing up. You know, I mean, if 80% of it is just being present, maybe the other 10% is just like
That you got there in the first place.
well, it's I'm going to just sit with you in it, right?
Yeah.
But all of that is showing up, right? So it's like typically when we think like, how do we minister to someone or serve someone? We think, well, we got to do all these things. We got to say all these things. We got to, you know, and what if I say the wrong thing, or what if I do the wrong thing, or but what if we just showed up? What if you just show up? And I love the idea of, you know, looking for opportunities to bless.
Yeah.
Because if you're making some food and you say, we're just going to bring this and show up, we're going to give it. Like anyone can do that.
Right.
You know, I mean, obviously you want to make sure the food's good, but
It was good pulled pork.
yeah, there you go. There you go. Right.
Yeah.
Because
It's an important
but you could do that in lots of ways too, right? Like it's just showing up and looking for those moments to say, you know, I want to just bless you.
Yeah.
Or I just want to be with you.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's hang out.
Let's hang out.
Yep.
You know. I guess here would maybe be what were you saying?
Well, one last thing. in the last 2 years of demonstrable fracture in our society and the breakdown of relationships and all kinds of chaos. What would it look like to, like we've just talked about, show up and love people and meet them where they're at and be a sincere and genuine presence for people, to begin to cultivate relationships. People are hungry for that. People are hungry for relationships, like legitimate, sincere, genuine friendships and relationships with people who they know, love, and care about them. You know, like, that's, we could step into that and serve in that way.
Absolutely. So, I mean, imagine this. Imagine if the people who are Resurrection Church were to take the next, several weeks leading up into, Christmas and the New Year, and we were to just say, you know what, we're going to have eyes to see, opportunities to bless, and we're going to have feet to go to those people, right? And we're going to have hearts to be with those people and hands to serve those people. Like if we were to just say, we want to show up, right? We just want to show up. We're going to look for moments. Just imagine what could happen. I mean, there's going to be opportunities within your friend circle to bless somebody. There's going to be opportunities within your extended family to bless someone. There's going to be opportunities in, in your work environment to bless someone. And I just think, the season of Christmas is a season where we receive the blessings of God for originally in His first coming, and we anticipate His return. But it's a season in which we can, bless people in the name of God.
And imagine how many opportunities that, by God's grace, that would provide for us to share the gospel with people and to love them and have gospel conversations, right? Not in a pressurized sense, but it's like, I care about you, I love you, and I'm going to bless you. And they're like, what? Why? There's a window right there to just go, well, because Jesus loved me. He died for me. He gave Himself for me. He gave me new life. And because I worship such a generous and loving God, who saved me, who's generous towards me. This is my motivation to love you and bless you.
Yeah, I love that. I love the fact that it can be as simple as saying, I just want to serve you and love you because God has served me and loved me. That's it. And that's a living testimony. Showing the heart of God.
It's good.
Good. Well, friends, as we go into this Advent season, we're praying for you and your family, and we're praying that you would experience the blessings of God in your life, and then you'd be able to share the blessings of God with others as you live life.